I'm recording this in between the second and third period between Colorado and Arizona, and trying to process what I'm watching in that game. But I'm gonna try to unravel that later. That should be quite the review. So again, no spoilers. Do my best not to spoil things. The Carolina Hurricanes committed today with a win and you stay alive situation. And honestly, I thought they were going to. I really thought early on that Carolina played well. Pasternak was in, made a huge difference. And I don't think he's 100%. There were a couple of times where he was kind of slow getting up, and I thought, man, he's in pain out there. But he stayed. He didn't leave the game or anything. Jordan Staal was in as well. Anders Bjork was out for the Boston Bruins. We could see that coming. He was weighing things down when he was out there the last couple of games. Made total sense to have him out of the lineup. Hopefully Vancouver later does the same with Jake Virtanen. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, it didn't take long, did it? So evenly played early. Mrazek looked sharp. I thought Mrazek had a really good game, to be honest. I thought, other than Reimer's rough third period in Game 4, I thought the goaltending for Carolina was quite solid. But Halak wasn't going to have two bad games in a row. And that was a key thing, too, is that Boston's goaltending gets a little tougher than it was in Game 4. So the Bruins were cycling. The Krejci line looked pretty strong again. And Krejci, honestly, has had a fantastic series. I think the break did him a lot of good. Seemed to do a lot of good for the Bruins in general. Halak denied Trocheck. And then there was a question on Hayden Fleury gets a shot that he thinks went in. And it sounded like it might have gone in or it might have hit the crossbar. So they looked at it on the replay, and yeah, it was in. There was really no debate about it. There was no point, even we need a review. You don't. That's in. That's a goal. And Aho and Martinook with the assists at 9:35. Absolutely fantastic goal by Fleury. So at this stage, I'm looking at it and saying, Carolina could very well make this a series. Keep in mind, Game 6 scheduled for tomorrow. So if they could win today and ride that momentum through tomorrow, they force a Game 7 after that. Mrazek then denied Pasternak. He outweighted him. It was a really nice play. Pasternak was just trying to outweight him, and no, that wasn't going to happen. Mrazek won the battle of wits there. Halak then denied Williams shortly thereafter. Williams, I thought, had a half-decent game as well. And, of course, we know this is likely his final season in the NHL, so that would be a shame if that's the case. And we'll see if anything has taken place since this return where he says, you know what, one more year. McAvoy takes a penalty. The Canes go to the power play. Milbury wasn't happy with that one. I thought I put that on the board. Because, again, at least once a game, you'll hear, that's a penalty these days. Back in my day. I just thought it was funny, and I thought I'd throw it on the board. I thought just for pure levity's sake, I'd put it on the board. Milbury wasn't happy with that one. There were a couple of others that he said, oh, yeah, no, you have to call that. So the Canes were showing a lot of heart. They didn't get any shots on that power play, but there was good structure to the power play. And there was reason to believe that this power play was going to come through at some point during the game. Although they did not score on the power play again. Felt like it was, helping their momentum. The shots were surprisingly favoring the Bruins. And I say surprisingly because it felt like that first period was a very Carolina-esque period. Very much the kind of period of hockey that they would say this is what we want to play. And I thought they had control of the puck more than Boston. Canes pressured with 2 minutes left. They're not able to get a goal there, but they exit the first period with a 1-0 lead. So second period, Aho to Martinook early, and it just misses. So this is one of those, this could be interesting if that one goes in. Pasternak takes a penalty. The Canes go to the power play. I have to say that when he was sitting in the penalty box, I kind of wanted a Dunkin' Donuts ad behind him. They do the Dunkin' Donuts ads with him, and I thought, that's a missed opportunity right there. They have to do that tie-in where whenever he's in the box, they give him a little mini jersey to work on and sew or whatever he's going to do with it, crochet it, whatever. And they miss an opportunity there whenever Pasternak goes to the box, because it's the first thing I think of is, he's going to have a cold brew. So that's good advertising. That's what that is right there. That when you associate a guy getting in trouble with, he should have a coffee. Post then for Teravainen. Pasternak had a breakaway as he came out of the box, which was denied. And that was one of those plays where Carolina has to be aware of the player coming out of the box, especially when it's a 48-goal scorer, as Pasternak was this year. The Canes appeared faster than the Bruins to that stage of the game. It felt like they were faster to the pucks, that they were battling a little bit harder. They had that desire. And again, when you're down 3-1, you kind of expect to see that from the team that's down. Slavin then blocked a Bruins chance at the net. Now, it's true, Slavin was the one that coughed it up in his own zone, but he also covered for it and made sure that no shot got through to Mrazek. So there were turnovers taking place for Carolina, but the defense was able and agile enough to cover for it for the most part. The Bruins were being held to the outside by the Canes. Keep in mind, this is the second half of the second period, and even though they lost a lead in Game 4, I don't really look at what happened in one game and say, well, that's going to carry over and happen in this one too. So I really thought Carolina was playing a very strong game. Bergeron gets a breakaway that was stopped, and he was hooked on that. This is one of those ones too. I've seen this a lot now since the return. Plays that definitely would have been penalty shots during the season that we long-term hockey fans will look at and go, that didn't used to be a penalty shot. Now they're not again. Now we seem to have gone back to, if you get a penalty shot, it has to be a clear-cut breakaway and no chance, rather than some of the penalty shots that were called this year. So no penalty shot, but on the power play, Krejci scores to tie it from Pastrnak and Bergeron. And this was a game-tying goal that felt important. And then the puck goes the other way. It's Brady Shea that had a shot that handcuffed Halak. That one almost ended up going in. So again, if you're Carolina, put pucks at the net and do your best to take control of the game, which was going into Boston's favor in this stage. Once we get to the later stages of the second period, you could feel Boston getting their legs under them, getting the momentum and their confidence, and clearly going into this with the mentality of, we can end this now and not worry about playing again tomorrow. Last minute, Martinook takes a penalty. The Bruins go to the power play. Kasha was crushed into the glass. It was kind of a scary-looking thing. Kasha did stay in the game, but it was one of those kind of scary-looking plays. Hopefully he's okay, because as soon as you see a guy's head hit the glass like that, your first thought is concussion. Bergeron would score with just under 4 seconds left, so at 19:56, from Pastrnak and Krejci, and it banked in off Mrazek's foot. Not a great goal for Mrazek. And one of those ones where, Bergeron, not really being challenged, goes, all right, look at the time on the clock. I'll just throw it at the goalie. And it went in. So it's 2-1 Boston after 2 periods. And that seemed to change everything. So early in the third period, Foegele takes a penalty. The Bruins go to the power play. And Mrazek was tested, but the Canes killed it off. And that was a penalty kill that I thought was much more effective than the penalty kills they'd had before that. Nordstrom then takes a penalty, and the Canes, this was the power play where they had to answer. This was the power play where Carolina had to get at least a goal out of this, and then have that momentum afterwards. Because, up 2-1, Boston's pretty good at shutting things down if they have to. They have a lot of experience with that. And yet there are regular season games where they blew late leads, but, the experience in the playoffs is a little bit different. The Canes pressured, but then Williams takes a penalty at the wrong end of the ice. You don't want to be taking penalties in the offensive zone, which Williams did. Puts the Bruins on the power play. Krejci would hit the post. Mrazek stopped Bergeron, and he denied Krug on the penalty kill. So Mrazek really, really strong while they were killing the penalty, and helps them kill it off completely. A dangerous-looking Bruins power play, but it did not connect for what would have been the third power play goal of the day. And you got the feeling that if they scored to make it 3-1, this game was over. Bruins were clogging up the neutral zone, blocking out the Canes, playing that style that we're starting to see a lot of teams playing with the lead now. And again, it's not technically a neutral zone trap, but yeah, it kind of sort of is. So it was working. 7 minutes left. The Canes passed through it. They pressed for the tie. The Bruins were guilty a bit there of holding on in the third period, where they're in their own zone, running around a bit. The Canes were controlling the play. Not a lot of shots, though, so there wasn't a lot getting through from Carolina. The shots in the third period were really low as Boston kept them again to the outside. There was shot blocking going on, and maybe some overpassing by Carolina too going on there as well. So goalie pull with 2.5 minutes left. Halak had a catch last minute on a Williams chance, and in my mind I thought, is that Williams' last shot that he's going to have in his career? Is that it? They call a timeout with 49.9 seconds left, and again I was thinking, if I'm Rod Brindamore, I'm going to be pointing at Williams and telling the guys, hey, we want to get this guy a chance at a Stanley Cup, right? Let's go out there and get that goal and tie it up, force overtime. and then try to win this in overtime. So Slavin had a chance. The Bruins were barely holding on, but they did. The Bruins get this one. They get the 2-1 victory. They knock out Carolina in 5. It wasn't, and again, it's one of those series that, you win it in 5, but it wasn't an easy 5 games. Like Tampa Bay knocking out Columbus. Not an easy 5 games, but still, they get a nice rest before they're going to have to worry about round 2. And again, the top seeds are winning. The better teams, and we can have the argument about whether or not they're really the better teams, but the better teams seem to be the ones that are coming through in this playoff setup. So, here we are. The Bruins knock out Carolina. The shots were 9-8 Boston in the first, 13-10 Boston in the second, and in the third, the shots were 6-5 in favor of Carolina, as Boston just shuts everything down. Final shots 27-24 in favor of the Bruins. Hits were 33-27 Carolina. The power plays, Carolina 0 for 3, Boston 2 for 4. That's your difference in the game. Mrazek 25 saves on 27 shots. Halak saved 23 out of 24. Both goalies played very well. Boston now moves on to round 2. If Philadelphia wins tonight, we know it will be Boston and Tampa in round 2. Not necessarily a fantastic matchup for Boston if you look at 2018, but if you go as far back as 2011, you'll make a lot of Tampa Bay fans mad bringing it up. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always regarding this game and this series. And Boston moves on to round 2, and for Carolina, they're out. We're starting to see eliminations, which means tomorrow I only have 2 games to watch, which means, hey, we can talk about other things rather than just the preview review kind of thing that's been going on for weeks. So I'll wipe the sweat from my brow and take a little bit of a breather tomorrow and do some other fun stuff. And we'll see later on tonight whether or not it is in fact Philadelphia moving on to face the winner of Washington and the Islanders, and we get Tampa Bay and Boston in round 2, which could be a very fun series. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.